The Indian side tonight, Hardeep Puri is former chairman of the UN Security Council Committee Against Terrorism, former permanent representative of India at the UN. I don't know anyone who knows India and the UN as well as Hardeep Puri. General G.D. Bakshi is also on the Indian side, and Sushant Sareen, who's with the IDSA, is on the Indian side. We have three panelists from India. We have three panelists from Pakistan. We always keep it balanced. Admiral Javed Iqbal is panelist number 1. Syed Tariq Pirzada, panelist number 2. I think he's just being lined up. And Brigadier Javed Hussain from Karachi, who's already on your screen. Should we begin, gentlemen? General Bakshi, should we just tell the UN military observers group to get out of India? I mean, that's better. Why get out of a building? Let's tell them to get out of India. They're irrelevant, completely irrelevant and obsolete. General Bakshi.
This, Arnab, is the most major anachronism of the 47-48 era of independence. It had lost its relevance decades ago.
Yes.
And I think it's about time that they are given their marching orders and sent back where they belong.
Yeah.
40 military observers. You expect them to keep the peace? What were they doing in the time of the Kargil operations?
Nothing. They're
Where
useless.
were they when they were needed? They are just not required. They are just not required. They are not doing anything to earn their living.
Yeah. So let's tell them to get out.
And I think it is
Brigadier Javed Hussain. You can look at it in your own stilted way that you have lost another pillar of support that you are desperately trying to cling on to justify your non-existent claim over Kashmir, and hence you are terribly nervous. But the fact is, this UN military observers group is a failed agreement, arrangement. You see, it has outlived its promise, its purpose. It should have been kicked out of India after 1971. After the Shimla agreement, there was no business of this UN military observers group existing at all. We are only doing what we should have done 40 years back. We are doing it now. You should be welcoming it, Brigadier Javed Hussain. Why don't you welcome it?
Arnab Goswami, first of all, let me remind you that this is a debate. And you are the moderator of the debate.
I am aware of that.
You are not. You act like a participant.
Sir, I'm trying to moderate your position towards one of rationality and reason.
You are the fourth member of the Indian panel. So be neutral.
Sir, I am an Indian.
And you should have.
I am an Indian. I don't make any bones about it.
I know, but the Indian is conducting a debate.
Yes, an Indian is conducting the debate.
So what we are going to, what the Pakistani panel is going to tell you is that just because you say that the UN military observer group in India and Pakistan has become irrelevant.
Yes.
It doesn't become irrelevant.
Sir, President Bhutto said it.
Just because...
President Bhutto said it. Your National Assembly said it.
Just because...
You don't respect your National Assembly.
Forget about President Bhutto.
Huh?
Forget about... I'm talking of the United Nations.
Sir, this is the most unreasonable position. Sir, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But even from your pro-Pakistan position, how can you say forget about Bhutto? It's your political history.
What I'm trying to tell you...
Sir, the Shimla Agreement emphasizes bilateral negotiations ratified by your National Assembly in 1972. 1 second. Your National Assembly, Syed Tariq Pirzada can tell you this. Your National Assembly on the 14th of July 1972 gives its approval to the Shimla Agreement by an overwhelming majority. In his speech at the National Assembly, Bhutto says the decisions arrived at Shimla were preeminently justified. The Shimla Agreement said bilateral negotiations. So UN military observers group was irrelevant on that date. We should have thrown them out then. We are only throwing them out of a building now. We haven't even thrown them out completely, which I think we should. You can't say forget Bhutto. I'm sorry. Mr. Pirzada, would you condemn this comment? Forget Bhutto?
You asked me a question.
Let me tell you.
And now you've gone to somebody else.
Yeah, because I just want to know
is
whether
this the
another
way you conduct
Pakistani
a debate?
panelist will support that position of forget Bhutto.
Is this
No, I
the
will
way to
not.
conduct a debate? You ask a question and then you go to the next panelist?
Sir, are
This
you...
is no debate.
Sir, but you
This is
just...
not a debate.
Sir, you said forget Bhutto. Bhutto.
Forget
Sir,
about Bhutto. I'm talking of the United Nations.
Sir, I am talking of the Shimla
You
Agreement.
should have the courage. You should have the courage and the patience to listen to the contrary view.
Sir, you can't say forget
which you
Bhutto.
don't. You butt in.
Sir, you get angry
You
when I
butt in.
remind... Sir, you got
You are not
angry...
required to butt in.
Sir, no, sir,
It's
you
very
got...
bad manners.
No, Brigadier Javed
you
Hussain.
interrupt.
Brigadier Javed Hussain, you have great personal respect for you, but you can't get angry when I expose the Pakistani position. I just told you what your National Assembly...
You are not supposed to. You have asked me a question.
Yes.
You have to have the patience to listen to the answer.
Well,
Which you're not doing, which you never do.
Sir, it's an open
Which you
debate.
never do.
Sir, it's a debate.
It is not an open debate.
It is an open
You
debate.
ask questions, well, have the patience to listen to the other
I will listen.
person's point of view.
Okay, now can I get an Indian point of view, then I come to Syed Tariq Pirzada again. Hardeep Puri.
You haven't got the Pakistani point of view. Why do you want to go to the Indian point of view?
Sir, I am going back and forth between all the panelists equally, sir. Hardeep Puri.
That is why it is a flawed debate.
I would like to tell my learned and distinguished colleagues from Pakistan who have joined us for this discussion that I find the situation quite anachronistic. We have a situation in which Pakistan seems to value the UNMOGIP as an entity, but they charge them rent for the premises that the UNMOGIP uses on the Pakistani side. We, on the other hand, have always maintained that after 1971, a group set up to monitor arrangements put in place in the late 40s has lost its relevance.
Yes.
And I am appalled by the fact that in India, we have been giving them free accommodation in Delhi, and they have not even been paying rent, let alone market rent. And I believe in Kashmir, they've gone a step further. They've got presence in 4 locations, and then they get free rations. I don't know why the largesse of the state is being extended to a group like this. If they need money, they should get it from the UN General Assembly. But more important than that, I personally believe that the UN should never have accepted this arrangement. The UN should not be receiving freebies from member states. So therefore, we have only corrected something that should have been done 40, 50 years ago. Therefore, I welcome the Government of India's decision to ask the UNMOGIP to vacate these promises and let them, like the other UN specialized agencies, go and rent premises in some part of Delhi where, like other tenants, they will pay normal rent.
Yeah.
Insofar as the issue of the Security Council and the resolution and UNMOGIP's status is concerned, we can have a separate discussion. For the moment, India has only rationalized or made an attempt
No, sir,
to
I think we
rationalize
should...
the presence of the UNMOGIP.
Sir, I think we should be very clear on the debate tonight, Mr. Puri. We are debating not India asking UNMOGIP to move out of a building. We are debating the complete irrelevance of this UNMOGIP, which has no
I am
business.
in total agreement with you. I don't need
Which
to.
has no
I have
business.
said that. I have said that in the United Nations Security Council. I have said it repeatedly in statements which I have made as India's ambassador and permanent representative. So Arnab, I don't need to debate that with you. The Indian position on the irrelevance of UNMOGIP is a position which has been developed, if I may submit with some humility, with some of my authorship. I have
Precisely.
been a major contribution.
No, but since our
Contributor to that
Pakistani
position.
panelists like Syed Tariq Pirzada, Admiral Javed Iqbal still cling on to this UN body as if it's some, last custodian of what's going to happen between India and Pakistan, and since they take the kind of position, forget Shimla Agreement, forget what Bhutto said, I think we need to debate it. Syed Tariq
Nobody
Pirzada...
said forget Shimla Agreement.
I mean, this is a question.
Nobody
No,
said
one
that.
second.
You can
Yes,
debate.
Admiral Javed
Fact is-
Iqbal.
Then let's debate it.
Yes, let's debate it. Let's debate it.
Look, you see, now...
Why don't you
listen
interrupt the
carefully
Indian
and listen
panelist?
With patience. Listen patiently. Look, whatever you do with the UN MOG, I am least concerned. It is inconsequential to me. It will not, you see, the Kashmir problem will not die away because you will throw them out. The Kashmir program will live, and it is a live thing as long as Kashmiris are there. So you are trying to, have a wishful thinking by doing such step. You will forget about Kashmir. You will not be able to do that. It is, I think, foolish, and it is silly to consider that by just, I'm least concerned whether you give them free accommodation or you throw them out. It is your right. It is the internal. Please let me complete it. It is absolutely the internal matter of India whether to keep them or throw them. But the Kashmir is an international agenda on United Nations, it is a part of that.
Why are you insulting the National Assembly?
Either the time or the energy. I spent 5 years in New York. I don't think anybody in the United Nations has any interest in the subject. It is lying
I am not interested.
In some basement
I am
in
not.
the UN.
You might spend.
I don't think they're worried
you can
about
spend
Iran,
another
they're worried
50
about
years
Crimea,
there. Look, you see the things.
Let's be very clear. Let's not live in our own make-believe world. This is an issue which needs to be bilaterally discussed. I don't think we need a UN group to be present here, living off the fat of the land.
Then why didn't we discuss it?
I'm appalled at the idea.
Why didn't we discuss it?
Sir, do you realize today?
Now, but you don't want to discuss it.
Admiral,
you don't want to discuss it.
Admiral, by the way, open debate.
You don't want to discuss
Admiral,
because you link it.
Admiral,
you don't want to discuss it.
Admiral, I want to bring on one harsh reality today to your panelists. Yes, GD Bakshi, I can see your hand go up. You can come in. Sushant Sarin can come in. It's an open debate now. The harsh reality, and I don't want to be rude about it. The harsh reality is nobody listens to you on Kashmir anymore, anywhere in the world. The United Nations doesn't listen.
That is your thinking.
The United Nations doesn't listen to you.
You see,
absolutely
Kofi Annan told you off. Ban Ki-moon told you off.
You cannot tell
Kashmir as a dispute.
Well, this is your wishful thinking.
Even the Americans
it doesn't become part of India just because you say so. If you think the Kashmiris are with you, hold a referendum today.
Sir, you can't see
99%
hold the referendum today.
Opting out of India.
Oh, hold the referendum.
Which were there.
Why don't we hold the referendum?
The aggression. You not only did not
hold the referendum today.
Territory to somebody else. What are we discussing here? What are we discussing? A make-believe world? Look, let's be very clear. Even your own people don't have any force. If you want to bilaterally discuss it with us, we are ready to walk the distance and talk to you, Mr. Minister.
Why are you going back?
It is a dispute.
Why are you going back on your word?
What
appears to me
what you don't understand is...
Sir, Brigadier.
What you don't understand is that this military observer group is only to monitor ceasefire violations.
So they are a useless
That's
group.
all. It is not going to mediate. Hold on.
Hold on.
It is not going to mediate between India and Pakistan.
It is totally irrelevant.
My question is, if you are saying it's one second. If you are saying it's to hold the ceasefire, then I want an answer to the question General GD Bakshi asked.
Which you say
if the Brigadier, if the job,
hold on.
Brigadier, hold on.
You say that there is no room for a third party mediation. Okay, agreed.
There is no scope for a third party mediation.
But Simla agreement says it has to be discussed bilaterally. So recognize that Kashmir is a dispute and let's talk about it.
So
find a solution.
All right, let's discuss.
So find a solution.
So I am very glad today. No, 1 second.
There can never be peace.
1 second.
We can talk.
There can never be peace between India and Pakistan. Kashmir is and will remain the core issue.
To vacate Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
Sir, 1 second.
That entire issue of irrelevance goes back to 1949. You made it irrelevant.
In which case this debate is irrelevant.
Occupied Kashmir by refusing to withdraw your troops from there.
Sir, Admiral,
the whole world is laughing, my dear sir, on your delusions of grandeur.
Why don't we withdraw? Why don't we withdraw? Both the countries should withdraw the troops and let Kashmir decide it.
Sir, you
Be
must...
bold,
You were
accept
supposed
it.
to
Sir, I know
first.
that...
Oh,
Yes.
be bold, accept it.
Sir,
Yes,
Admiral,
let the Kashmiris decide.
Admiral, don't you know history?
All other
You said it.
further
If
actions
you are
One
that
second.
brave,
upon your withdrawal from Pakistan
If you are that
occupied
brave,
Kashmir.
One
If
second.
you are
Sushant
that
Sareen,
brave,
Sushant Sareen and Syed
accept
Tariq
it.
Pirzada.
Let
Admiral,
both the country.
Admiral, remember this. I don't
I
want
am
to
there.
remind you of the thrashing we gave you in 1971. It is a painful memory for the people of Pakistan,
And the
especially for
thrashing-
you.
and the
But you must
thrashing you
remember
got
that
in
after
65,
the Shimla agreement which you signed,
That was 1971.
Yes.
Don't try that now.
I bombarded the Varka.
If you try
Sir,
that
you can
now,
imagine.
bombarded the
we'll put you
Varka.
back 100 years in time
Sir,
and space.
Sir,
You
understand.
see, I bombarded
So
the
don't talk of
Varka.
1971.
In Karachi,
Sir, you know what is
We-
happening. Sir,
we
one
sang
Admiral,
Gujarat.
your comeback in
Admiral,
Karachi.
Admiral, I'll
You
tell
are looking there.
Admiral,
You know,
I'll tell you.
what are
Admiral,
you
listen to
talking
me.
about?
Admiral, just listen to me. The fact is that you have to go by the available evidence which is there in your hand. You are helplessly, Sushant Sareen, today our Pakistani panelists are looking
see,
so,
you
our
are
Pakistani
you
panelists
want
are
to have a
looking so,
shouting match, or you want to
worried
have a debate?
about
Look,
the
you
UN.
haven't heard me.
No,
You
one
haven't heard
second.
me.
A defunct group called the UN Military Observers Group, which has served no purpose, which proved utterly useless when the Pakistani army-backed jihadists as well as the Pakistan army crossed the LOC in 1999 that led to the Kargil conflict, which serves no purpose. Why do you think our Pakistani panelists are reacting in this kind of a nervous way
No,
to
no, we are
our
not reacting.
our
This is- look,
our first step
look, you
towards
see,
saying to them that this group is
I
irrelevant?
don't want to listen.
Sushant
we are
Sareen.
reacting.
Puri has
We
said
are
much of
reacting
what I
that
would
you
have
do
wanted
not
to say.
listen
Sir.
to our answer.
Sushant Sareen.
How can one talk?
Don't want to listen
Sushant
to our
Sareen.
answer.
So I think Mr. Hardeep Puri has said more or less a lot of
May
what
I-
I wanted
may
to
I-
say, but I'll just make
may
two
I-
or three quick points. Number one of the Pakistani panelists said that, well, if Kashmir is to be discussed bilaterally, then why doesn't India discuss it with us? The problem with the Pakistanis is that their definition of discussion actually translates into that India should discuss the modalities of abandoning Kashmir to Pakistan. Now that's not going to happen. We have a very strong position on Kashmir, we have a very strong case on Kashmir, and that is what we are going to discuss with them, and which is that the Pakistanis are an illegal occupation of a part of that territory. Now that is what we want to discuss. Pakistanis can come with whatever they want to discuss, but if there's a stalemate, then they have to learn to live with it. That is point number one. Point number two is, I don't know why we keep talking about this resolutions or this group becoming irrelevant after the 71 war or as a result of the 72 Shimla Accord. In my book, it actually became irrelevant in the first instance way back in the late 40s and early 50s when the Pakistanis didn't fulfill their side of the bargain, which was that they had to withdraw their illegal occupation of this territory, and then that the Indian forces had to take over the entire responsibility for security of that state. They never managed to do their part of the bargain. Now they want that everybody should withdraw. That's not going to happen. Number two,
listen to
these
answer.
resolutions
Listen to
were
answer
passed.
also. Give
These
us the time.
resolutions were more in the
let me
nature of
also answer.
recommendations and not binding resolutions. So that is another thing which seems to escape
don't
the
you listen to
Pakistanis.
answer?
The
Look,
third and the more important
if you are
thing is
having us-
that in
if you are
1965,
having
the
us
Pakistanis
just to listen
unilaterally
to your
tried to
speech,
change the
it is-
status in Kashmir by sending
But
in
that
their
is the
terrorists
point.
and their invaders and their army men, although they were still in denial that it was
If you are
some
not-
Kashmiris who had
if
gone
you
across the
are-
border.
if you
Now,
are
having used
if you are
force
having a one-way
unsuccessfully
discussion,
and then
it
to
is
go
not-
back to the
if you
UN
are having a
resolutions,
one-way
I think is
discussion-
even disingenuous even for the Pakistanis.
No, one second.
Now,
But-
you
but-
can't make
if
unsuccessful
you are-
use of force a claim
don't want
over
to
your
listen.
position and then say, okay, I'm very sorry that I used force unsuccessfully.
this is
I
a-
want to
No,
go
you
back
can
to the
be sorry
UN.
or you
That
can
doesn't
be
happen.
No, Mr.
So those
Pirzada.
resolutions, to
No,
my
Mr.
mind,
Pirzada,
became
look at this
irrelevant in
hypocrisy.
65, but the final
You have
stand
to
of
tell,
irrelevance
you have to
was
tell
put
your
in
panelists
72.
Why
to be
call
quiet for a moment.
No, one
so I
second,
can
one
speak.
second. This is utter what we're proving tonight is utter Pakistani hypocrisy. You violate, Mr. Pirzada, the ceasefire across the LOC. You undermine the very purpose that the UN MOGIP is meant to serve, and yet you respond to terrorism, and then you back the UN military observers group as the recourse to the.
Over to you. What the hell are we talking about?
You know, Mr. Pirzada. No, Mr. Pirzada, your game is up now. There is a new government that has decided to deal with you very firmly. Very firmly. The new government will deal with Pakistan very firmly. You must now come to terms with it. You must reconcile yourself to it. Soft peddling is over. Biryani diplomacy is over.
Your servant. We are not your servant. If you have the courage and guts, then do it. The thing is, I am suggesting
do what? We are going to throw the UN military observers group out of a building, and we are going to say to you it's irrelevant.
It was India who took Kashmir to United Nations. It was Nehru who took Kashmir to United Nations.
And then what happened in the Shimla agreement? What happened in the Shimla agreement, Admiral?
What happened in the Shimla agreement?
What happened?
What happened in the Shimla
agreement? Have you read the Shimla agreement, Admiral? Admiral, have you read the Shimla agreement? Admiral, have you read the Shimla agreement? No, you have not read the.
Have you read the United Nations?
Have you read the Shimla agreement of 1972?
I have read it. Have you read it? Why are you shying away?
Do you know, Admiral?
Do
you know, Admiral, that the Shimla agreement came into force on August 4th, 1972?
Be a man.
Sir,
be a man.
Sir, do you
and
know?
Come and discuss.
Sir, do you know
what are you talking?
Sir,
sometimes you link it with Havan Saeed.
Sir, why have a silly argument like be a man, Admiral?
What are you talking?
Admiral, Admiral, a man called President Bhutto.
Whatever you do to your United Nations group, I damn care. But one thing is there, the Kashmir cause will not go away by your wishful thinking.
As per its policy, pursue reciprocal
you are trying to tell me the new government has
taken the building away. Why don't you also take action against Unmugip? Then we will be on the same footing.
Are we your slave? Can you give us the order? Have you the guts?
It's not a bad idea.
Sir, this is a very
recommendation. I'm only suggesting
you cannot handle Kashmiris. How was Mr. Modi received in Kashmir?
Sir,
how was Mr. Modi received in Kashmir?
Very well, by the way.
Very well, by the
way.
Shut her down.
No, very well.
Shut her down.
I don't know.
Shut her down.
I don't know which Pakistani channel says that.
Shut her down.
Sir,
what are you talking?
Sir, now
let me come in now.
Admiral, read the Shimla agreement. Admiral, I know 1971 bothers you a lot and your personal memory, but read.
Withdraw your troops from Kashmir and then see.
Sir, I'll tell you.
And then see what will happen.
Okay, now Syed Tariq Pirzada, who is being unnaturally quiet, in July 1949, a little dose of history for you. India and Pakistan signed the Karachi Agreement by establishing a ceasefire line, no 1 minute, to be supervised by the UN military observers group. Is it true? No, is it true? I just want to know, you understand history better, I hope. Is it true that after the 1971 conflict, the ceasefire line ceased to exist, and through the Shimla agreement, the ceasefire line was called the line of control? Hence, the mandate for the UN military observers group became outdated. If these are the facts, in the light of such facts, why did Pakistan keep reporting the ceasefire violations to the UN military observers group, which was in complete disregard of the Shimla agreement? Which was in complete disregard of the Shimla agreement? 1972, Article 1-2, you signed on to it. Do you have no respect for what your government's international commitments are? Syed Tariq Pirzada, I saw the line go off there, maybe we'll get him back. 1 second. Yes, but Brigadier Javed Hussain, you heard me on that.
I'm online.
You're online. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to come in after this.
Go ahead, Syed Tariq Pirzada. Go ahead. Let's see if you have an answer to that.
Here are the three things.
Yes.
All right. Have some patience, Arnab. Here are the three things.
I have
Number
lots of
one,
patience.
I am so glad that finally, after years of my effort, the now has agreed to discuss Kashmir as a live and living and a disputed territory between India and Pakistan.
Sir, your panelists, including you, just admitted that Kashmir is a bilateral issue.
Listen to her.
I emphasize that fact.
Don't interrupt.
Emphasize that fact.
I'm
You have
so
all
glad
conceded.
Kashmir,
You conceded it's a bilateral.
You were not interrupting the Indian panelists.
Is a disputed territory. Number one. Number two.
Sir, you didn't hear my question.
As far as the UN mission is concerned, as far as the UN mission is concerned, you may throw out anybody on your side. The effect remains that Pakistan and India have an unfinished agenda pertaining to the creation of creation of India and Pakistan in 1947, that is called Kashmir. Kashmir is a disputed, internationally recognized disputed territory.
Sir,
and if
you're
you don't resolve it,
you're clinging on to it.
I have a warning for you. I have a warning for you and for the whole of India. If you don't resolve it today, which is the best time because you have a good Prime Minister in Pakistan who wants to talk to you, but if you don't resolve it, the matter will be driven to the battlefield, and I can tell you, Pakistan has plenty of nukes. Pakistan has plenty of nukes. Pakistan has plenty of nukes to wipe you and your forces off the face of earth.
Now we are being threatened with military action.
Yes.
Now we can resolve. We can respond to
course.
that in
Of
one of
course.
two ways. I
Or
think
we'll
I
wipe
would
you off the
want
face of
to-
earth.
You know,
I can tell you
want
that.
to respond to
We'll
this
wipe you
by-
off the
by
face,
not
face of earth.
giving it the
And you know these
dignity
bozo,
that this kind
these
of
bozo,
a man deserves.
you know these
What are we
bozo
discussing?
bureaucrats
What are we
that you have
discussing?
laughing
You are facing
on your
so
side.
many
They don't have a
internal
brain.
problems,
They
my
are
friend.
still
Try and
living in
resolve your internal
1971.
problems.
You are
Don't
so
threaten other countries. Don't
2014.
threaten countries like India
They
with
say
military action.
2014.
I think you are on the wrong
Sir,
side of
first
this.
of all,
You should be
one
making
half is
peace.
Saeed.
You should be trying to
so
solve
scared of
problems,
one half is
not by
Saeed.
threatening military
Otherwise,
action.
scared of
You know, you
one
are
half.
joining
You are so
the
scared
likes
of
of
one
Hafiz
half.
Saeed and others
so
who
scared
have
of
that
one
bent
half
of
is
mind. And we have a government which wants
You know,
to
you
wage
think
peace.
India is
And either
powerful.
you join us
Those
in
days are
waging
gone.
peace,
You
or
are
you
so
go and
scared
threaten
of one
countries.
half is Saeed.
That's
Our
all I can
conventional
say.
powers,
Out of a
both
sense
our
of
sons
regret
are
here.
able right now.
Sir, you know,
What will you do
Very
with
good
us?
chief of
you
army
know, you
staff
kept,
who believes
you
that
keep,
Kashmir
sir,
is
you,
a jugular of Pakistan.
sir, you keep trying all these things, and I know that you tried. I know that you tried.
threatened.
Because we know you tried. We have sympathy for you.
You guys,
Mr. Pirzada, we have a lot of sympathy for you about how much you try, Brigadier Javed Hussain. But today I want to tell you your position in the Committee of Nations.
didn't have the guts.
Your position in the Committee of Nations is so weak. You are globally so discredited.
Ours is very strong.
Especially after
Ours
you
is
were
very
caught
strong.
trying to keep
you guys
Osama
need
bin
to worry
Laden
about
as your
your-
paid
Okay.
agent in your
Okay,
backyard.
you've spoken enough.
All your attempts to internationalize the
You guys
Kashmir
need to
issue
worry
have
about
failed.
800
Why don't you
million
complain?
below
And
Why
therefore,
don't you complain to your
therefore
godfather
today you,
Washington?
I'm saying
worry
this.
about those people.
No,
Why
what?
don't you complain to your godfather Washington?
Sir, this fact of the matter is your attempts have
that
all
is your
failed.
Why don't you
godfather.
complain to
You
your
lick their
godfather
boots.
Washington?
That is
Sir,
your
I
godfather.
understand.
We
Sir-
have every difference
You
of
are
opinion with
licking their
Washington.
boots.
But it is India.
Look,
that
dare
is the
not
lacking
attack
of Washington.
Pakistan.
Sir, don't get
You
worked
dare
up.
not, for last 10 years,
You guys,
were
you guys
told
are
to keep
living
away from
in
Pakistan.
fool's paradise.
You were told to keep away from
I want to
Pakistan.
ask our
You
Pakistani
obeyed,
guest.
And you
No, no, one
obeyed,
second.
And you obeyed like a
Admiral,
like a
Admiral,
No, you
Admiral,
obeyed like you
Admiral, I know that I have.
Take away
One sec,
the part of Kashmir that
One
we
sec,
have.
one sec.
Tried
For
after
somebody who rented out their territory to the Americans,
Why don't
for
you
the
three
two
gentlemen
wars
decide
against,
which one of
first
you
against
is
the
going to
Soviets
speak?
and then
We have
against
three
the
Pakistani
Mujahideen.
guests on the show speaking at the same time. It's
you
not
make
me
us
who are
laugh.
interrupting you.
Have a
You are
side
interrupting
on
each
that
other.
confident.
You're living in the past.
Withdraw your troops.
Listen, come back to me, Arnab.
I just want to
Withdraw your
ask
troops.
They're living.
Admiral and Syed Tariq Pirzada, 1 minute, don't get worked up. Don't get worked up. Admiral and Syed Tariq Pirzada, I have given the Pakistani panelists more time today than the Indian panelists, I admit.
Withdraw your troops.
Sir, I'll ask you
No.
one. I have
You
one
haven't-
question.
that is a
I have one question
haven't
for
given me
Brigadier
any
Javed
time at
Hussain.
all.
I have one
have
question.
that
I have
courage.
one.
Yeah.
I have one question for Brigadier Javed Hussain. I have one.
I just want to make 2 points.
I have one question. One second. Gentlemen, please. To our guest in Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, our guests are all there today. My next question is to our guest in Karachi, and people across India are watching you at this very moment. Brigadier Javed Hussain, please pay attention and answer my question.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving me some time.
Thank you. It's my
Now
pleasure.
just listen to me.
No, one second. I'm asking a question. You can't make a speech. I'm asking the question.
I'm going to ask you questions.
I am asking you a question.
It is my prerogative.
Sir, I ask questions. Sir, I ask questions.
You have spoken enough.
No, I haven't spoken enough. I have a lot
You
to
have
say.
spoken enough.
Sir,
now you listen to
sir,
me.
I'll tell you one thing, sir.
Listen to me, Arnab.
No, one second. Brigadier, it's a very serious question. Take the question.
Why do you want to impose yourself on the participants?
Sir, I'm only
Pakistani participants.
I'm only asking a question, sir. Why are you getting worked up? I know today that
I'm going to ask you 2 questions.
I'm going to ask you a question, sir. I asked the question.
And those are very relevant.
Yeah, my question to you is this.
Those are very relevant questions.
Can you tell me?
Number 1.
Can you tell me whether the Kashmir issue has ever been discussed in the UN Security Council for the last 50 years, 5 decades?
Read the resolutions of 1948
No, one second. Is it true? No, you cling desperately to the Security Council resolutions. The fact is, Kashmir issue has never been discussed in the UN Security Council since 1962.
They were passed.
You know that.
I thought you had come
clinging
back
on
to me.
it. Yeah, give me the answer. Tell me, Brigadier Hussain, when was it discussed in the last 50 years? You hang on to it in Pakistan.
About 50 years.
Tell the people of Pakistan the truth. Tell the people of Pakistan the truth.
I will answer this question.
Answer?
By asking 2 questions. Number 1, you say that they have become irrelevant on the LOC.
Yeah.
You always accuse Pakistan of ceasefire violations.
Yes.
We accuse you.
Yeah.
Who is to decide who is right and who is wrong?
Okay.
Question number 1.
Okay. So
Question number 2.
One question.
Now,
I ask you. No, you ask one question. I'm going to ask you a counter question.
1 second.
I'm asking you today, did the UN military observer group not prove utterly useless when 2 Indian soldiers were killed? One was beheaded in January 2013 by Pakistani troops. Did it not prove utterly useless in its supervisory capacity, having failed to do anything significant when Pakistan was repeatedly violating the ceasefires on numerous occasions this year? Where was the UN Security Monitoring Group when 5 Indian soldiers were killed by Pakistani troops in August 2013 on our side of the LOC? Where is the UN Monitoring Group at that point of time? It's an obsolete entity. It's totally obsolete.
You want to discuss?
Sir, it is the world's most obsolete entity.
Let's have a one-to-one debate.
I'm having a one-to-one debate.
Let's have a one-to-one debate.
But you don't have any answers to my
facts. The LOC.
You don't have any answers.
Bring anybody from the Indians.
You have no answers tonight. On the facts, you have no answers.
You have no answer. Now, you haven't listened to my second question. My second question is, one of the Indian panelists referred to the Simla Agreement. And he said that bilaterally discussions have taken place, and it is all or nothing from both sides. That is absolute rubbish.
Sir.
If there is a stalemate according to him,
sir,
then you have to bring in the third party.
Sir, listen to me.
Why do you have to bring in the third party?
I don't
answer these 2 questions.
Sushant Sareen is asking you.
No, why do you have to bring in a third party?
Yeah.
Where is this written that you have to bring in a third party if there's a stalemate? If there's a stalemate, you still keep talking about it, but you don't try and unilaterally change the status quo by sending in terrorists, by trying to create a war hysteria in your own country, by doing all the kind of shenanigans which Pakistanis have done. You don't do that. If you do that, then you get
let's not talk of terrorists.
And as for this guy who was warning us and threatening us,
I'm prepared to discuss the LOC with anyone from the Indian side.
Let me use the expression of the accent of the people whom he uses.
Let's not talk of terrorism across the LOC.
Use that very phrase and say, bring it on, mate. Just bring it on.
Syed Tariq Pirzada.
You want to discuss the LOC? You are going to expose the incompetence, the inefficiency of the Indian army on the LOC.
Sir,
despite all those barriers,
sir,
these people, the phantom fighters, fighters, they come, infiltrate 11-10 kilometers, kill the target, come back 10-11 kilometers, cross that barrier. They are phantom fighters. What is the Indian army doing?
Who are these? Who
On
are
the
these
barriers?
phantom
And what
fighters?
is-
Who are these
and-
phantom
and what-
fighters?
They may be anyone.
And I find
We
it-
say that
I
there are
find it
no
amazing
phantom fighters.
That you are holding a
We
brief
say
for them
that they are
on prime-time television.
indigenous
You are holding
freedom
a brief for them
fighters.
on prime-time television. This encourages
Indigenous freedom fighters.
Fine, great.
Mister,
He is a part of the terrorist outfit.
I don't know what your name is. They are indigenous freedom fighters.
Sir, you know, I'll tell you one
They
thing.
want
Sir,
independence.
sir, I-
Yeah, yeah,
I-
they are
I-
indigenous and I am
No,
Japanese.
one second, one second. One second. Brigadier Javed Hussain, I'm taking a break.
area controlled by the Pakistani
Coming
army.
across
I'll tell you what,
the ceasefire,
I'll tell you what to do. I'll
want
tell
to
you
discuss
Brigadier Javed Hussain.
anytime,
Brigadier
any
Javed
place,
Hussain.
anywhere.
Brigadier
Discuss
Javed
the
Hussain.
LOC with me.
Okay, taking a short break,
Let us
Brigadier
talk
Javed
about the
Hussain. When we
military
come back
diamond.
on the other side, I'm going to ask you why you don't ask.
were supposed
I'll
to
tell you, you have a job for the UN Military Observers Group. I want the Military Observers Group.
Don't talk about the violation.
I want the Military Observers Group, gentlemen, I want the Military Observers Group to keep a check on Hafiz Saeed. We are back on the other side on why the Pakistanis are looking so lost at our decision to put the UN Military Observers Group in their place. Back in a few minutes. So I first want to request our Pakistani panelists, Syed Tariq, please don't get into this whole business of, you know, we are going to go to war with you, etc. Don't overreact, sir.
All right.
Don't overreact on this, sir. But just look
Why
at
you
I am going to
started?
say something
look at it in
different
perspective.
That will change the.
No, you don't discuss rationally. Discuss with
may I
logic.
say something? May I please say something?
Yeah, you know, please,
We are talking of a.
sir. What is
All
happening?
right, all right. Let's talk about the UN Observer mission and the similar agreement. You know this point that is being raised.
Yes.
Raised to remove this, mission from India and the.
It's
and
not
Kashmir
removed yet.
From the Indian side of the Kashmir.
It's not removed. We are
All right,
only saying it's
not.
totally
I'm saying
irrelevant.
We are talking about it.
Yes.
Oh, no, listen, hold on. When you say something is
connection
irrelevant,
with Simla is
you
irrelevant.
take steps to remove it. Number one. Number two, then tomorrow you'll say, let us eliminate Simla agreement also.
No, we are not saying
you know
that.
What that
No,
would
you
mean?
can't. No, we are not saying that.
No, hold on.
No, but
Hold
we are
on.
not saying that.
Hold on, let me finish
No, you
it.
can't say
No,
what we've
but
not
hold
said.
on.
No, we are in fact saying to
Hold
you
on.
today, we
I'm the one
stand
who's
by the
talking.
Shimla agreement.
I'm the one who's talking.
So, but we stand
All right,
by
let
the
me finish
Shimla
the
agreement. We are not
consequences.
taking those positions.
Let
We stand
me-
by the Shimla agreement
let me-
signed by your President
You know,
Bhutto
now,
after your loss in
I
the
have just put my foot on
1971
your
war.
tail, and you are just jumping,
No.
off the floor. Now let me just talk.
Sir,
Please.
after
Look,
we freed
if
Bangladesh, you
if
signed
are
the
a-
Shimla agreement.
If India is a serious negotiator on the issue
do not stick
of
to the Simla
Kashmir,
agreement.
let me say a couple of things. If India is a serious party to the dispute of Kashmir, if India respects Simla agreement,
Yes.
you know what is the last paragraph of this Simla agreement? It says, and it said 40 years ago, let us immediately resume negotiations on the future of Kashmir. You have wasted 40 years.
No, 1 second.
Don't waste any more
1 second.
time.
You
have
are
a
so,
good
you know,
party
I'd
in
get General
Islamabad.
Bakshi.
You have a good person.
Okay, no, General
in
Bakshi.
Islamabad.
General Bakshi, I'll
Hold
tell
on,
you. I'll
hold
tell
on.
you. I'll tell you. The Shimla. General Bakshi. General Bakshi from Delhi responding to you, sir.
We've heard you.
General Bakshi,
Oh,
please.
let me.
General Bakshi responding. Sir, hear the other side. Hear the Indian panelists tonight.
No, I just put my foot on your tail.
Mr.
and you are
Pirzada,
just
can
trying
I,
to run
with your
away.
permission?
No.
You know, Arnab,
No.
the
Let
problem
me
with
finish.
our Pakistani interlocutors is the fact that
the
they
problem
are totally
with my
aware
Indian
of the complete
interlocutor
fatigue of the
is-
international community
Yeah.
with their rantings and
problem with
ravings about
in-
Kashmir.
the problem with
Nobody
the
in the
Indian
world is
side
interested.
that you
Your
cannot
entire,
swallow the fact
attempt
that
to
Pakistan
hang on
is
so
a
desperately to the
nuclear
UN
state.
observers
And you
outfit
can't do
is,
a
your
damn thing
last straw.
about it.
Clutching at internationalizing somehow the Kashmir issue on which the rest of the
Kashmir
world
is an
is
international
bored
issue.
to death.
General
It is a
Bakshi, wake
non-issue
up.
as far as
Wake
they
up,
are
General
concerned.
Bakshi.
The only
Come on.
issue, if
You
there
have
is
been
any,
distorting the
the
truth
only issue,
on
if there is
television
any,
for the
Mr.
last 7
Pirzada,
years.
is the
Come on.
fact that you are still
Come on,
in contravention
come on.
of the UN
Come
resolutions,
on, Mr.
hanging
Bakshi.
on to Pakistan
Come on,
occupied
Mr. Bakshi.
Kashmir.
No. Either you let me talk or even you won't be able to talk. Come on now, wake up. Let me talk.
Sir, you say you let me talk. I think you have nothing to say. The point of the matter is this, that I just want to tell Brigadier Javed Hussain, who is Brigadier Javed Hussain, who's you get very worked up and emotional about this. I want to say one thing to Brigadier Javed Hussain. Brigadier Hussain, you see, you understand your global situation. I'll just give me 30 seconds. I'll explain it. I'll explain it to Brigadier Hussain and Admiral Javed Iqbal. 30 seconds, I'll explain it. You see what's happening is, sir, I'll tell you, no, 1 second, please remember, 1 second, sir, let me explain the position. Sir, let me, Brigadier Hussain,
our position is very strong.
Sir, I'll tell, just give me 30 seconds. You see, everyone in the world is after Hafiz Saeed now. You can't, no, 1 second, no, you can't escalate the situation on your western side, you can't escalate the situation on your eastern side, you are sandwiched. The Americans are going to go. Your money is running out. Your money is running out.
No, we are not running out of money.
Your money is beginning to run out, and the Kashmir issue is slipped out of your hands. The Kashmir issue has slipped out of your hands. Nobody in the world, Brigadier Javed Hussain, listens to you anymore. So this empty rhetoric, we'll go to war with you, etc., has to stop.
Engaged in bonded labor. You have 800 million people living below poverty. India is a third rate.
Sir, I'm telling you,
Don't
sir.
worry about your country.
Sir, at least, sir, you listen to the.
You cannot put your words in our mouth.
Sir, I know, I don't want to. I just want to put a little bit of reason inside your mind. That's all.
No,
just a little bit of reason.
You never talk about reason.
Our Pakistani guests may kindly be told to focus their energies on Operation Zarb-e-Azb. आप अपना ऑपरेशन करिए, save your breath, save your energies. We are not impressed by your threats.
Want to keep the United Nations.
As General Rahil said,
if you want to throw them out, throw it.
Pakistan,
what is
and
the
we will
discussion
focus
Sir, like this, you will just
as much. You will focus on Zarb-e-Azb.
So 1 second, sir, Brigadier Javed Hussain, can you tell me in this situation why this suicidal streak in Pakistan today? This completely suicidal. We may have lost anything. We'll keep raising this issue. I want to ask Brigadier Javed Hussain, sir. I want to ask Brigadier Javed Hussain because I understand you're clinging on because this is the only thing. Maybe it's the only reason for your existence. Maybe it is the only reason for your existence. But still,
we are paying the price. We are paying the price.
We are about to
paying the price of defending India.
So we are telling you it's a bilateral conflict.
Look, remember.
Sir,
if we bring the Dural line to Wagah border, you will regret.
So which world are you in?
Pakistan.
So which world are you in?
Which world you are in? You don't realize this? You don't realize this? We are paying the price.
No, I must come in here.
Sushant sir, please,
allow me a second.
Sir, today the Pakistani guests are...
One Hafiz Saeed. One Hafiz Saeed is enough to stop your laughter.
So you admit Hafiz Saeed is on your payroll.
I must make
No, 1 second, it's very important. The Admiral has admitted that the world's... 1 second. The Admiral has admitted today... One second, this is significant. 1 second. Admiral Javed Iqbal... Admiral Javed Iqbal...
You are saying so.
Admiral Javed Iqbal... Admiral Javed Iqbal, you have just, can I just tell our viewers what you have said?
At your own.
Admiral Javed Iqbal, you have just admitted on a national channel in India that Hafiz Saeed, that joker, that coward, that terrorist is on your payrolls. I think it's a very significant moment, Sushant Sareen, and we have had that admission on national television.
I never had any doubt on this, and the UN Secretary
They have just made the admission very significant.
Proscribed him.
Maybe under provocation.
Why don't you complain to United Nations?
Maybe under provocation.
Why don't you go to your godfather, Washington?
Sir, I don't know. Sir, you can believe...
Why are you so scared?
Sir, Admiral, how are you behaving, Admiral?
The thing is, whether you... Look, listen to me now.
One participant is threatening us with military action, and the other is admitting that Hafiz Saeed is on their payroll.
Or not,
I think this has been a very
nothing to
productive
do.
discussion.
So
We've got one person threatening us with military action, and the other one is admitting that Hafiz Saeed is on their payroll.
That is why we are fighting with That is why we are fighting with them. They are on our payroll. That is why we are fighting with them.
Gentlemen, one second. Sushant
You are
Suri,
not fighting
so
Hafiz Saeed,
ungrateful.
you are fighting the
You
other
don't
guys who
realize.
involved.
You are fighting
You
with
don't
Hafiz
realize.
Saeed? That's
You
news.
don't realize.
Arnab, I must say
You
I am
don't
quite
realize
astounded
if-
by some of the
if I
stuff
can
which I've
tell
heard
you-
today.
So
on
am
this
I. I'm
program.
astounded. I'm
Because one of the
astounded.
Indian
Pakistani
thinkers.
guests says
Oh, have you
that we should
forgotten?
be thankful
Have you
to them that the
forgotten your
Durand
history?
line has not come up to
How
the Wagah.
many times?
I thought
How
the
many
Pakistanis
times?
were seeking
Okay.
strategic
How many
depth in
times Mahmood
Afghanistan
Ghaznavi
until
came?
now. Now
How
I
many
think that the
times?
Afghans
Tell
are
me.
seeking strategic depth in
Tell me the
Pakistan.
part
This
of
is a
history.
completely
How
bizarre
many times
situation, and I
Mahmood
think it's the
Ghaznavi-
Metternichs and these Clausewitz in the Pakistani
I said it doesn't
establishment
matter.
who have actually
Doesn't matter
reduced this
what you
country
say.
to
We
practically
know.
a failed state.
Doesn't
And it's
matter.
because of these kind of characters who have been this gift to Pakistan, which has actually reduced Pakistan into a laughing stock of the world. Here is this guy who says that we should be thankful to them
India is
that the
the
Durand line has
laughing
not
stock
come
of
to
the
the Ratcliffe line.
Listen to the
I
BBC
haven't,
report.
I'm yet
There
to
are
hear a
21
more
million
bizarre
people engaged in
take, a
bondage
strategic
labor.
take from
Shame on
any
you.
Pakistani. This is bizarre even by Pakistani
800
standards, I
million
must
people
say.
living below poverty line. India being the fourth most corrupt country in the world.
Sir,
You guys have nothing to be proud of.
Brigadier Javed
India
Hussain.
has a long way to go.
Brigadier Javed Hussain. Brigadier Javed Hussain. Brigadier Javed
know,
Hussain.
you
Do you
know,
think? Do you think? No, one second. I just
Yeah,
want one question. One question.
You
One
can't
question.
militarily-
No, Brigadier
you
Javed
can't
Hussain.
militarily scare Pakistan.
Brigadier
any
Javed
longer.
Hussain.
So
Brigadier
this is
Javed
where
Hussain, do you
stand.
believe?
India has
do you-
got nothing?
Brigadier Javed Hussain, at least publicly and on platforms like this, do you think our Pakistani guests should not admit to the close links of the Pakistani
What
state
are you
with Hafiz
talking?
Saeed?
What are you talking?
With Hafiz
you are
Saeed,
putting the words in my
since
mouth.
people like you,
are lying.
since
I
you,
will
since
tell
you,
on the-
since you on
I
several
will tell
occasions,
on the live program
since you on
that
several
Indian
occasions,
anchors
Hafiz
are
Saeed,
liars.
Brigadier
You are
Hussain,
lying.
you have yourself
You
said you are not in
lying.
agreement with what
You
these
are
people
liar.
do and the support
are
that they
liar.
get in
First
Pakistan. I have considered you
are
to be more
liar of
reasonable
first
on such
degree.
issues. Would you
I
say at least
said-
publicly on
I
national
said
television
that
in
you are
India,
scared of
Pakistani
Hafiz
guests should not flaunt
I said
should
you
not
are
flaunt
liar.
closeness with an
I-
international terrorist like Hafiz Saeed?
Should listen.
Let me say on this that India, whatever you've said about Pakistan, say a few words about India also.
Sir,
The rape capital of the world.
So I think again now you have run short
My
of
God,
questions.
what a
And
distinction.
I'd say this today that
Number
I'll tell you one thing, Brigadier Hussain.
Number two.
I can find that you are scared of getting into this debate
don't
because
interrupt.
it worries you. But I'd
It's
say
bad
one thing on
manners,
behalf of all the
interrupting.
people today watching this program across
Let
India,
me-
and
let
this
me say again.
goes out with all seriousness to the Pakistani guests and especially to Syed Tariq Pirzada.
On this platform,
Mr.
I wish
Pirzada, I
to
want to say
remind
one
you-
thing to you. Just Mr. Pirzada, please.
You
Just
talking
Mr.
of
Pirzada. I
Wagah
want to
border.
tell you, Mr. Pirzada,
You talking
that
of sandwich.
Mr.
Have you heard of
Mr.
what is known as nutcracker?
Sir, I can only say here, Mr. Pirzada, remember this. This
Listen to Brigadier Javed
Jurassic
Hussain.
style,
Let him finish.
your Jurassic style kind of threat today of going to war with India was very laughable. One. Point number two,
No, it was very
to the
serious.
Admiral I want to say,
And you guys
to the
will be
Admiral I
sorry
want
one
to
day.
say that
You
Admiral,
guys
I
will be sorry
understand that
one
you
day.
went to war in 1971. You must have been in the Pakistan Navy.
You are
And I
living
know
in
that you
fool's
carry that hurt
paradise.
for 43 years, sir, but don't reveal your hurt on national television in India. And Brigadier Hussain, I thought you were a reasonable and sensible man. You used to speak against Hafiz Saeed. Today, Brigadier, you don't even have the courage to tell your other two Pakistani
Never.
guests not to
Never,
flaunt their
never.
proximity with a terrorist.
Never.
Sir, don't flaunt your proximity to a
absolutely
terrorist.
wrong.
Arnab,
I have never
Arnab,
discussed.
can I
Hafiz
just
It's
come
Saeed.
for
really
a
sad.
minute?
It's really sad.
You know, it was a
national
very
television.
And why are you doing this?
observation.
Because Kashmir is slipping
That
out of your hands.
Military guests
This
from
debate is
Pakistan
about
have
UN
not
military
been
observers.
have not been
It is not
threatening
about
us with
Hafiz
war
Saeed.
and brimstone.
Sir,
it is not
because
about
they are more
Muhammad.
aware
I'll
of the
tell you, it is
consequences.
not about
It is
Indian
our civilian
Mujahideen.
friend who is threatening us
not
with
about Naxalites.
nuclear Armageddon. So
Maoists.
get lost.
Anyway.
Like I said, please save your energies for the
Don't run
war
away
that
from
you are
the
fighting in your
subject.
own territory. You will, believe me, you will
They aren't
need
fighting
it.
a war.
One can always bring in the Naxalites.
So anyway,
That
sir, you know,
racial
I think,
war
I
that you
think
are
at this
fighting.
stage,
Than anybody
I
else.
declare this debate closed because I think our
General
Pakistani
Mahmoud,
friends
that's a
have
phony
genuinely
war.
run out of
Is
arguments.
under the grip of
I understand.
Naxalites.
For sir, a bankrupt
Now,
state.
that's not
Now, sir,
enough
listen to
threat.
me,
You have
sir.
run out of
main threat
Sir,
emanates
please
from
focus on your
government.
problems in your own
Nobody
country.
else has.
The
You are to
UN
be
is
blamed
out
for
of
that.
this whole Kashmir issue. You are welcome to talk to us. We will
No,
treat you
the
with
UN
respect.
is very
You
much
try and
into
cross
the
the
issue
line,
of Kashmir.
we'll close the doors on you. We'll just,
Listen to
sir,
Modi.
we'll just,
Listen
sir,
to
you know what
Modi.
we'll
Modi
just,
said
we'll
one
just,
day
Mr.
before the
Pirzada,
election,
Mr.
he said
Pirzada,
we will
Mr. Pirzada, you can
the
go and
issue
fight with your
of
toy guns
Kashmir.
somewhere else. Your Chinese borrowed
You are
toy
trying
guns,
to
you can
set an
fight somewhere
agenda
else. We are going to
for
close the
Narendra
door
Modi.
on you.
And
Thank
he's
you very
not
much for
listening
joining
to
me on
you.
debate number 2 on the News Hour tonight.